Hello and welcome back to Simple Times Studios, where we recount epic adventures and solo roleplay for your entertainment. This week we have a special bonus episode for viewers. We are returning to the Orion Commonwealth universe and the adventures of Base for another glorious internet holiday. This time, instead of playing Stay Frosty, we will be using Dark Space by DMing the World. Base returns as a quick hero with a soldier background. Happy Fat Bunny Week, and enjoy Botanical Blues. Base rested his light pulse rifle against his shoulder as he exited the drop shuttle and stepped onto the surface of Sapphirus. Long rabbit ears twitched slightly as he listened to his surroundings. The heavy footsteps of his armored boots digging deep into the soft dirt as he ambled along with a pronounced sway of his broad hips. Rifle still resting on his shoulder, he thumbed his earpiece to signal the command ship. This is Base to Pacifier Command. I've arrived at the mission area. The location I'm supposed to investigate for the Science Investigative Services is only a kilometer ahead. He signaled as he started a slow trot towards the target area marked in his flight over. Understood, Base. Continue on and contact us if you encounter anything unusual. SIS was investigating a rogue scientist expedition in the area. Did SIS have any idea what the outlaw researchers were working on? Base asked. Nothing other than involved botanical research and multiple members expressing very strong anti-Sol Federation sentiments, Command radioed back. Understood. I'll radio back when I find something. Base shook his head and kept ambling through the pristine forest. Racist botanical scientists pursuing research that was banned in the larger Commonwealth. No idea if it was a weapon or just something that galactic civilization couldn't control. Sounds like the right ingredients for a bad time either way. Alright, does Base get lost or does he find his way to the site no problem? I'm going to say that it's an easy intelligence task, since he would have reviewed the map of the area in the drop shuttle ride over. 21 on a 1d20 plus 2, he crushes it easily. With the landing zone squarely behind him and the sun directly over his head, he reviewed the map in his head and realized he was still on track. Not bad, haven't gotten lost yet, he mused with a smile and a soft snicker as he continued on. Sapphirus was a lush, temperate world of arboreal forests that extended as far as the eye could see. It was an uninhabited planet, barely mapped, and not much was known about it other than that the soil chemistry gave the dirt an unusual bluish tint. Yet despite that, the foliage maintained the same lush green that Base had seen on dozens of other planets. Walking along a narrow dirt trail worn down by the native herbivores, Base continued to make his way along. Okay, I'm going to check for a random encounter. I get a 5 on the die, so no random encounter as I move to the next scene. Finally, Base came upon the abandoned research camp where the outlaw scientists had been working on whatever it was the SIS was worried about. Smart fabric tents and small geodesk dome workshops formed a ring around a large, flattened patch of dirt that looked suspiciously like a shuttle landing field. The base also looked like it had seen a struggle recently. Research tables and lab equipment were thrown all over the place. Plant beds were violently uprooted. It was a complete mess. It was going to take a little while to find what he was looking for. Poking through the mess with his rifle, he thumbed his earpiece again. Command, I have arrived at the camp. There is no one here, and it looks like the place was attacked some time ago. That's worrisome. You and the camp were supposed to be the only ones on this planet. See if you can find any data storage units and come back to the landing zone. Maybe we can figure out what happened when we review the logs. Command replied back. Okay, Base is going to make a wisdom check to try and find the data drives he was sent to find in the first place. It's a normal check, And he gets a 13 after modifiers. So yes, he does find it after a bit. After several minutes of ambling through the wrecked camp, Base found the camp's research computer in a workshop and waddled over. After a few minutes, he had ejected the computer's data drives and put them all in his backpack. As he slung his backpack back over his shoulders, his long, straight ears twitched ever so slightly. Something was coming and not doing that particularly good of a job being quiet as it rustled through the woods surrounding the camp. Okay, the monster has arrived. I'm going to look to see if Shadow Dark has an appropriate plant monster. We're going to use the stats for a shambling mound, as that fits surprisingly well for what I had in mind. Rifle raised and ready, Base scanned his surroundings for anything that looked like it was moving. It took him a moment, but he spotted the creature as it reached the camp perimeter. At first glance, the creature looked like a giant tangle of vines slowly crawling towards the camp. But then the Lapine pacifier saw the black and red flower atop the vine mass. A single flower scanning its surroundings like a giant eyeball. Base hesitated, waiting for the creature to make the first move and show its intent. When he noticed the metallic smell of dried blood and the bright white of bone fragments forming a trail behind the slow-moving vegetation. That was all the evidence of intent the gun-toting Orion rabbit needed. He started to back away slowly and tried to slip away so he could try to catch the creature in a flank. Okay, Base is going to attempt a normal dexterity check to sneak around the plant monster. He has advantage because of his class ability. So I rolled twice and keep the highest. 12 and 13. So I keep the 13, but both are a success. Creeping away slowly, mindful of his surroundings so he didn't knock anything over with his thick hips, Base slipped away and hid behind a collapsed tent. Rifle raised, he waited for the creature to crawl back into view. The moment it did, he squeezed the trigger and sent a beam of searing light downrange towards the monster. Okay, Base is going to make an range attack roll with his laser rifle. He rolls a 13, which narrowly misses, so I'm going to spend his soul luck token to reroll. And I get a 22, which definitely hits. I get quick shot +1, and I do 13 points of damage on my 3d6 plus 3 damage roll. It has 7 HP left. I'm going to skip rolling initiative since it's going to be just my turn, your turn. So it's the plant monster's turn now. It's going to move to get near the base and attack. It gets a 12 and an 11 on both of its attacks, missing both times. Sensing it was under attack, the creature began to move much more quickly than its original leisurely pace suggested. In a span of seconds, it was almost on top of him and lunged with a pseudopod made of vines. 1 hit, 2 hits, both of them bouncing harmlessly off of his elastic Duraweave jumpsuit. Base fires again. He gets an 18, which hits. He does exactly 7 damage, which kills it. Poking it with his rifle, he decides to see how it tastes and eats it. He has to make a normal constitution check and gets a 7. With the creature right on top of him, the pacifier gun bunny pointed his rifle in what he hoped was the center of mass and pulled the trigger again. Another beam of light punched through the creature and made it fall over dead with an unnatural shriek that Base didn't think the plant monster was capable of making. The creature dead, Base poked it with the barrel of his rifle. The laser burns gave it a unique smell that tickled his nose. He had to try it and see how it tasted. Picking up a vine, he stuck it into his mouth and started eating the creature like it was a massive pile of pasta. The taste was surprisingly pleasant and helped motivate him to go on far longer than he should have. Next thing he knew, the entire creature's corpse was devoured, and sharp pains began to radiate from his engorged stomach. He ate too much. He ate far too much. Ooh, worth it. He groaned and belched softly before slowly lumbering back to where he was supposed to meet with the shuttle. Good thing he found what he needed. Hopefully the research data would shed some light on what happened here and what that thing was. If the creature stewing in his stomach was what the outlaw scientists were working on, well, they shouldn't have made it go so well with ranch dressing. Fortunately, the long shuttle ride back would help settle his stomach. Alright, I'm going to determine the job payout. Felt like an easy job, but he did kill the monster and recover the drives he was originally sent for, so I think I'll double his roll. He gets a 2 on a 1d4, so that's 20 credits times 2 for 40 credits. So he makes enough to spend a night drinking when he goes on leave at the port bar and has 10 credits left over. And I rolled an 8 on the carousing table, so he gains 4 XP, almost halfway to level 2, and a wise ally. A couple days later, Base ambled onto a frontier station between the Orion Commonwealth and the Sol Federation. He was on leave, had some credit to burn, and the local port bar was calling his name. He had traded his armored jumpsuit for club clothes, and his stomach had finally settled. The orbital colony itself was a swath of warm colors and welcoming lighting, a hallmark of its Orion influences. Base slowly walked along, taking in the sights before he walked into the bar proper. The bar was a small, cozy little establishment of soft sofas and self-service alcoholic drink synthesizers. A mix of Orions and humans from the Sol Federation sat and chatted with each other. The smell of alcohol wafting up from multiple drinks. Overjoyed to finally be on leave, Base downed his first drink and hugged the first bar patron that was in reach. Unfortunately, that turned out to be a human male dressed in the pressed suit of a member of the Sol Federation's Diplomatic Corps. The dour, black-haired man had a look on his face that told Base plenty. The Orion bunny flashed a polite smile and removed his arms from the grumpy human. "Sorry about that. Let me buy you a drink," he offered. The human diplomat didn't even get a chance to refuse before Base picked up 2 more mixed drinks from the synthesizer. The smell of alcohol and citrus wafted up from the glasses as Base handed one to the human. The atmosphere between the two of them warmed up ever so slightly as the tall, slighted man took a sip of the offered drink. "Well, that is a good star fruit and rum. Jack McNeil, Sol Federation Diplomatic Corps," he introduced. Base nodded and gestured to an empty sofa. The two of them sat down and talked. The off-duty pacifier made up for his minor faux pas by talking to Jack at length about Orion society and cultural norms. Base had the strange feeling that he had just made a new friend. End of story.